Hello and welcome to the April Australis Shield Polkadot Cup. I am Fishy Legs too, and I'm joined here with my lovely co-host YACOBERVITCH. Trust.
That we have on this month.
Yeah, man, it's a lot less stressful on this side of the battle, that's for sure. It's great to just tune in and watch these awesome Aussie battlers sort of duke it out in the new meta for the month upcoming.
What's the meta this month again?
So we've got Polkadot Cup, which is based on egg groups. So the 4 egg groups we're working with this month are the Bug, Fairy, Field, and Flying. And so there's a limited pool of Pokemon that the trainers can select throughout those 4 egg groups, and then they can build their teams of 6 out of that.
Ah, okay. So a bit different from the usual typings. We've actually got groupings this time.
Yeah,
so that's an interesting way of putting it. So yeah. What are we looking at in terms of what's meta in this cup so far, or what we think might be meta?
So looking at the meta, it certainly seems like we've got an unusual rank number 1 on PV Poke, which is that Swoobat with the confusion damage boosted by that Psychic Fangs debuff. Looks like it's going to really shred through this meta.
I mean, that's true. You look at the rankings, you see Blaziken and Beedrill also up there, so that would make sense that Swoobat's actually quite good. I actually don't really see too much anti-flying coverage, so that's probably why Swoobat's doing so well.
Absolutely, and I think there's no psychic resistance aside from other psychic types within the meta, so that really opens up the field of play for those fast, heavy-hitting, fast-move confusions to swing in. And as far as anti-flying, you've really got a few electric types here that fill in that sort of anti-flying niche with Galvantula and Luxray floating around, but predominantly it's free reign for that Swoobat.
True. I think there are a couple of Dugong, like ice types like Dugong, and I think Celio are still around. Well, at least for this meta, but I don't know how viable. I'm not really too sure how strong they'll be, because you've got the likes of Blaziken, and of course Galvantula in there as well that kind of shred through those. So it'll be interesting to see how people build their teams around this meta. Whether people will try and go more for an anti-Swoobat or an anti-Swoobat sort of teams.
Absolutely. So while we're discussing that topic, why don't we have a look and see who we've got battling tonight?
Oh, I'm keen.
So looking at this absolute elite list of Aussie battlers, I can see yourself in there too, mate. What's going on?
I think it hasn't been updated. I chose to not actually compete in this one. Instead, wanted to try and cast it. So I was offered to join in on this one, but chose to do otherwise. But I see next on the list we have Inner Bloom 94, who I believe everyone knows from the Stealth community is probably one of the best competitors out there. Recently coming 5th in the Sydney Regionals. That happened, I believe, just last weekend or the weekend before.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it must have been last weekend. Inner Bloom, certainly a really top battler. Last time I played him, he gave me the big old sweep, so full strength to him.
I'm sad to say that he also swept me the last time I battled him. So I believe we share that common loss to him.
Yeah, and then not to mention we've got another a long list of strong battlers with Dennis, Triple Crit, Jim 2504, who won the Colossal this month. Darcy
he
from the
did.
Tassie Timbers.
We got a resident Fijian, Shaunal, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The list goes on and on. Not to mention Mikey Morgs in there as well. I believe he recently went top 3 or top 4 at Sydney.
He came 3rd in Sydney, and I believe due to Agent Magikarp already having his qualification for Worlds, he also got his qualification. So congratulations to Mikey Morgs for being able to attend Yokohama.
Fantastic stuff, really. Really good to see. So I think we've got our battlers queuing up shortly. So let's have a look here at the teams of each battler. Anything standing out to you, Yako?
Canto Sand Slash. I used it a little bit in some practice. It's got some really good coverage. Night Slash, Rock Tomb, and Earthquake. So Night Slash, obviously a good way of hitting the Swoobats. And I believe we actually have our battle starting in just a moment. But also Superior from, I believe, Mikey Morg's side is an interesting pick.
Yeah, obviously has that really strong hitting Frenzy Plant, which looks like it's got a decent amount of play here against Inner Bloom, having the Samurott and Sandslash weak to that grass charged move. But yeah, it's really cool to see that Sweebutt make an appearance on Mikey Morg's team with a couple of answers on Inner Bloom's side with the Galvantula and perhaps some Rock Weather Bowls from that normal type cast form. I'm interested to see whether people are electing to run Tackle or Hex as the preferred fast move for that cast form.
I think it kind of depends on how you want to run, because like Hex would definitely help out with the Swoobat. But I think just for some fast move pressure, you'd want to run Tackle. I think it depends on the play style of the person. If you prefer the spammy charge moves, or if you want a little bit more of a balance between fast move and charge move damage. So I think we will. I mean, keen to see if Inner Bloom will run that in these matches. So
yeah, absolutely. It looks like we're just awaiting for Inner Bloom to lock in his team. Notoriously thinking hard about his lines of 3 before he hits the go button.
I think the pose is quite accurate to what he's doing right now, trying to decide what team he wants to run.
And then Mikey just there below thinking about, is this working? Oh, here we go.
Okay, we have a lead. So Blaziken into Castle. Oh, this is a really good lead for Mikey Morgs.
As you can see, Inner Bloom switching out straight away into that Galvantula, resisting the counter fast move damage and chunking away with those Volt switches as Mikey now goes for a Blaze Kick.
Blaze Kick will do super effective damage, so I'm expecting to see a shield from the Gal. Yeah, as we do. Maybe no switch. Okay, throw in the charge move. He could be baiting with a lunge or a discharge. Goes for a shield.
As we see, that is the lunge coming through, so it gets that bait. Often such a common bait for people to shield with the same pacing of the discharge and energy ball lunge. Sorry. As we see the next Blaze Kick coming through, does Inner Bloom want to double shield his Galvantula here to try and force switch?
It does. Okay, so I believe at this point, Gal might be able to farm down the. Oh, it does. Yeah, so it comes out with a decent bit of energy. So no matter what comes in, both Superior and Celia, so super effective damage will be dealt to either one of them, depending on which charge move is thrown. Comes in with the Celio.
Yeah, see those coming in, potentially looking for a farm down, but we'll have to respect whatever move comes in here from the Galvantula. Lets the discharge go. Whoa, that's a lot of damage.
Must have been trying to call the lunge bait. So throwing the body slam onto the Blaziken. This will do a decent chunk of damage. Blaziken not known for its bulk.
We see the switch into Superior. Often you don't see a grass type counter swap in that fire type, but as you can see, Superior has the aerial ace, and now we'll have to shield out of respect for this potential Blaze Kick.
Blaze Kick coming through, shield comes up, and probably going to be charging up a little bit extra before throwing aerial ace. Very nicely done there. Having that little bit of residual energy for the cast form that's waiting in the back now.
So there goes the Blaziken. The Galvantula still had more energy.
It has a move. Okay, yeah, must have just dipped out with the lunge. Lunge will heavily damage this thing and cause a debuff as well. Yep, there we go.
Oh wow, look at all that damage. And I don't think this Superior's even going to get to a move. It does.
It does? Okay.
But I don't think the Celia has enough in the gas in the tank to take care of this cast form when it's still quite so healthy from the lead matchup.
We've still got a full health cast form in the back against a very low Celia. I believe this will be a win for the cast form this round. Putting in a little bit of effort right at the end, just doing a couple of tackles to take that to victory for Inner Bloom for game 1.
Yeah, really well played, bringing that bug type into the fire type lead, taking those shields and really commanding that back end matchup in that game.
I was definitely not expecting the Galvantula to be able to two shield through that. So I'm not really sure how Mikey could have played that either, because the Galvantula swap in, his best answer for that would be the Blaziken, really, but shields up, as we can see, Galvantula just wins that. So curious to see how Mikey's going to adapt to the opposing Galvantula now.
Yeah, that's right. And looking at the Mikey's team, he doesn't really have a solid answer for that Galvantula when it has shield. So he may elect to bring in his own as a sort of mirror to sort of neutralize that Galvantula. Potentially even running like something like a Fury Cutter tech, where you've got the option to get those moves off a little bit quicker and have that neutral hitting fast damage. Not to forget as well that with this event being streamed, I'm not sure if the rules are still the same, but previously players are being able to TM between battles as well.
I don't believe they can anymore. I think it used to be the rule where you were allowed to TM in between rounds. I don't believe they are anymore. Oh, going into game 2 though, Galvantula into cast form lead.
We can see here that Bloom is elected for the same lead. He's caught the Galvantula now, so we see that Mikey Morgs has adapted to that hard Galvantula matchup last game, bringing in his own, and now has decided to shield what was likely going to be a rock-type Weather Ball.
I just noticed the move set on that Galvantula, running Frost Poison instead of the Discharge. Really interesting. It's less energy than a Discharge, so it could definitely throw people off by its lower energy. But we see the lunge going through here on the cast one, which was no shielded.
As he switches into that Blaziken to try and counter down, he's met by the other Galvantula on the field from Inner Bloom, going straight for that Blaze Kick after building up to a Stone Edge. You have to respect this damage.
It's easily going to be a shield from Inner Bloom here. Yeah, there we go. It shields it up. Probably going to be farming out a little bit more. Yep, probably. I'm assuming he would go for a Discharge here. Lunge probably wouldn't KO. Yes, goes for the Discharge, yeah.
Goes unshielded, and now Mikey has a decision as whether he wants to bring back his own Galvantula, knowing that he's got that bit of residual energy from the start matchup, or does he bring in the jump off?
For the Galvantula and throws a Cross Poison.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure how much damage this will do, given that it's not same type attack bonus, or stab as we like to call it. Puts the Galvantula into the red.
So Mikey Morg's electing the shield. Here's Galvantula, likely wanting to farm this down and have a lunge for whatever comes in next. Oh, swaps out. Okay. Oh, okay. Go the snipe with the Weather Ball into the Gal. This is huge for Inner Bloom.
Inner Bloom playing really smart there, switching in the middle of that Volt Switch animation to ensure he gets that Weather Ball off. And now Mikey is forced to let go of his Galvantula and bring in the Jumpluff for a potential farm down.
Oh, and Inner Bloom getting yet another Rock Weather Ball onto the Jumpluff. This will be super effective just due to Jumpluff's flying typing. So that was a little bit of damage there. Jumpluff definitely known for its thickness.
Yeah. The cotton candy can take a hit, that's for sure.
Especially the shiny one. That extra bit of damage for shiny.
That's it. And now we see the Blaziken come in. And this Jumpluff has a lot of energy. This will be interesting to see whether it can get to 2 acrobatics in time before this Blaziken can KO the Jumpluff.
It'll definitely be a race towards that first Blaze Kick. We'll have to see if it gets the... Oh, it must have just been one off from that. I'm not sure if the Blaze Kick will KO. It's super effective. It's definitely chunky. So we'll see if that goes through. It does KO. That's another win for Inner Bloom.
So that seals the deal for Inner Bloom. He's gone 2-0. I think the trainers can now elect to play the third or move on to the next round.
Congratulations for Inner Bloom, making it past the first round to go into the, I believe, the semi-finals now.
Yeah, it was really...
Yeah, semi-finals, okay.
Yeah, the semi-final bracket. So that was really interesting. What sort of stood out to you in those battles, Yako?
I like the transition to Jumpluff from Mikey Morgs, just because with a little bit of energy, the Jumpluff can actually handle the majority of that team quite well. Even Galv, so even though the electric and the grass moves are neutral, Jumpluff's tankiness is just able to absorb them, and acrobatics hit so hard against it. So I liked the adaptation to it. However, I think I think Inner Bloom adapted well enough to probably recognize that energy on Cast Form and Galv was going to be his win con against Mikey Morgs.
Yeah, Innerbloom really putting that Galvantula into great effect there, knowing that it has a lot of play against the whole of Mikey Morg's team, and just really manage his energy quite well, making smart swaps in with that cast form, for example, KOing Mikey's Galvantula before he even had a chance to react. So really top-notch mechanical plays here from Innerbloom. And I'm excited to see how far he can make it along tonight.
True. Yes, I'm actually curious to see if there's going to be a third match between these two. I would definitely like to see one. Depends on the players though, if they would want to just continue on to the next rounds. We'll definitely be looking forward to see it. It would always be good to see if Mikey can get a win over Innerbloom. I believe the last time these two faced was actually at Sydney. Mikey Morgs, I believe he was the one that knocked Innerbloom down to the losers bracket. So
Oh wow!
this is a bit of a maybe a bit of a rivalry happening between these two in this in the Australis Shield.
Bit of a revenge story, hey? That's,
yeah, well, I mean, he's got it now, so we'll see if he can get the clean sweep on him like he has on us in the past.
Absolutely. It looks like the battlers are queuing up for a game 3, so we'll just hold the fort until they lock in their teams. But what sort of changes would you expect for this game 3?
I mean, Galv once again is coming for Innerbloom. Galv against that team is so strong, especially shields up. As we can see, I think from what we can see, Bloom loves to run that Galv in a safe swap position. Just knowing that it can essentially 2-shield its way through pretty much everything on this team. For Bloom, especially since that Mikey Morgs doesn't really have an answer to it, save on maybe his own Galv or maybe the jump bluff, just to sort of lower it. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I think the only way for Mikey Morgs to overcome that Galv is to build energy on all of his mons and just slowly chip it down. That's really the only play I can see for Mikey Morgs. He's definitely on the back foot in this regard, but he's a strong battler, so I have no doubt that he's actually going to be able to find a way to break through that Galv.
Yeah, I think the strategy that Mikey might have to adapt here is just chipping away, getting those shields, building up energy so that he can really start to unleash and put that Galv in that vulnerable position where it can't rely on having that charge move pressure absorbed by those shields. So I think spam might be the key here, and whether Celio comes in. Here we can see game 3 is live.
We got in a Bloom's perspective this time, so leading the Galv this time. Okay.
Galv into Blaziken. Yeah. We can see here that both trainers electing to stay in as as Innerbloom tries to go for a catch on his own Blaziken.
Oh, Mikey. Oh, looks like Mikey. Yeah, Michael actually, I believe he got up to 2 blaze kicks worth of energy before dipping out. But the Stone Edge coming now from Innerbloom under the Swoobat calls the shield there. Very well done.
Yeah, the Stone Edge gets shielded, and the Swoobat can safely farm down this Blaziken all the way. In comes a Galvantula, going to be greeted by what looks to be a Psychic Fangs.
So Psychic Fang probably won't do too much there, but the debuff will certainly make the confusion start to chunk. Innerbloom now electing to go for the discharge onto the Swoobat. Mikey Morgs, no shields knowing that he'll be taken out by it.
Yeah, and as he played really smartly earlier, he's built up to those heaps of energy on his Blaziken, but now has brought in his own Galvantula to try and soak up the remainder of this energy left on Innerbloom's Galvantula.
Mikey Morgs electing the no shield. Oh, okay, and dipping out. Oh, I just realized. Okay, Innerbloom going into his jump off and no shielding, not expecting the cross poison from the Galv. That will do a good chunk of damage there.
It tickled, that's for sure. We can now see that the jump off is building up a lot of energy, being met by another cross poison from this Galvantula. It's going to have a lot of work cut out if the jump off wants to try and farm this thing down.
So the no shields again. The jump off is getting relatively low. Innerbloom still has both shields. Electing, surely he'll have to shield this one. if he wants to preserve this jump off. No
And
shields
he's
again.
not shielded. Wow, I think he's forgotten that he can use those, or maybe he's trying to go for that 2 shield flex.
I'm not sure there. He might be. He's probably still conscious of the fact that Blaziken still has two moves in the back, so maybe just hoping that he can fast move pressure down at this point.
And
Oh,
there
okay,
goes
Mikey getting
Blaziken.
the win.
Blaziken countering down that Galvantula in the end there. I think that yeah, you're right. Bloom really had to preserve those shields for the extra energy that Blaziken had, and Mikey really adapting well with those strategies that we discussed earlier, with building up heaps of energy before switching out and maintaining that sort of a pressure and advantage over Bloom.
I do like the how Mikey preserved a lot of energy on that Blaziken for the end game. He never had to use it, but just preserving that and knowing that I believe Blaziken beats Galv and CMP. I could be wrong there, but I know both have quite high attack stats. So maybe Mikey banking on end game charge moves going through, maybe one shields are down, but in the Bloom, knowing that the Blaziken left with so much energy, just selecting the no shield. Hoping to farm down the Galvantula with a Fairy Wind, a move not known for its damage, so perhaps just too much of a task for the poor Jumpluff to do.
Yeah, those Fairy Winds are what we call a Mudshot clone, so very low damage, high energy, and Jumpluff doesn't hit hard at the best of times, so you combine that combo and you've got a really, really low fast move pressure to try and farm down that Galvantula, even though it is quite a squishy mon. So unfortunately had to eat one too many cross poisons there at the end for Inner Bloom, but he has sealed his victory over Mikey Morgs with a 2-1 fashion. Looking to progress into the next round. Okay.
Ooh, okay, so we got the bracket up now. It looks like the next round will be between Shawnal and Inner Bloom 94. I believe Juicy was unable to compete tonight, so I believe that's why Shawnal has the 3-0 over him. So that will be our first semi-finals. And who we got for our second semi-finals?
Yeah, I believe we'll have Dennis and Triple Crit for the other lot once the first semi-finals is done. So as we progress in here, Inner Bloom versus Sean Alkuma and Dennis versus Triple Crit, the winners of those will then progress on to the grand final, I believe.
Definitely, yeah. It looks like we got a very stacked top 4 here. So, I mean, we got Inner Bloom, obviously strong competitor both in Sylph and play Pokemon formats. Shawnal, definitely not a battler to be underestimated. Even though he's not necessarily from the Australian region, he's definitely been a big member of it and has shown his skills in battle many times. I know every time I've gone up against him, he has proven to be quite formidable. And then we have both Dennis and Triple Crit, no slashes of their own. Both of them often doing quite well in all the grassroots tournaments or Sylph tournaments that they compete in. So we definitely have a very stacked top 4 going towards the latter half of the Shield now.
Yeah, and both, I believe, play factions as well. Well, actually, all 4 competitors play factions, so that's another meta or another chance to play in a different field meta, which is very similar to these Sylph format tournaments with restricted picks for the Great League. So, very skilled in identifying viable Pokemon within a meta, building teams around those things. So it's really going to be a battle of some of the best that Australia has to offer in the Sylph grassroots space for tonight.
That's true. Actually, just noticing as well, the 4 competitors still remaining are actually our 4 top ranked. So we have our 4 challenger ranked competitors are actually all still left. So definitely, it definitely just shows that they know what they're doing for the higher ranked ones to be here. So I believe with these next sets, I believe it's Inner Bloom and Shawnal that's going to be upstream next. I could be wrong there. Oh yes, it is. Seeing the teams come up now.
First, straight away, the first thing that pops out to me is that Nidoking on Chanel Kuma's side. I love looking at that thing. You never get to see it in the meta. So Any chance of bringing Nido King? I love it.
Actually, to be honest, looking at it, Nido King does have a good bit of play against Bloom's team. I believe it will be running Poison Jab, Sand Tomb, and maybe Megahorn. However, if Shawnal wanted to, he could use that Elite TM to put Fury Cutter onto the Nido King, making it charge moves a lot faster than the Poison Jab would, at the cost of a little bit of fast move pressure.
Wow, I didn't realize that Nido King actually could learn that. That's really cool. I think the standard moveset for this meta for Nido King is the Poison Jab set with a very flexible moveset of Mega Horn, Earth Power. Does it also get Sand Tomb as well? But recently got buffed by receiving that double kick, which creates a lot of high energy gain for that low fast move pressure. So perhaps a double kick angle could be applied here with maybe a double nuke set.
Yeah, so definitely one we can be seeing. However, I have just received a little bit of a notice. Chat just asking for us to notice them. I see Rocket Claire wanting to mention that Triple Crit is her faction's teammate, seeing as we brought it up before. I believe Shawnal is actually Misa 76's faction teammate on.
That is true.
Oh, what? Do you remember the Jinchurikas? I apologize if I butchered that name. I believe it's the Jinchurikas.
Jinchurikis. If you watch
Jinchurikis,
Naruto,
okay.
you'll know what we're talking about.
I cannot say I've watched that. I've seen bits and pieces, but I've definitely not seen that. I mean, going along with the line of how do we say it, factions teammate. In a Bloom 94 is my factions teammate. So hopefully, hopefully he can do our factions proud and get that win there.
Absolutely. My faction's teammates have elected not to attend tonight. Dusty has pulled out early, so maybe they're prepping for a big week ahead of APAC Emerald. As we are both playing in the APAC Emerald for this cycle, it's a lot of stiff competition up the top there, but factions is highly strong no matter what league you're playing, and I find it's been tough working our way up.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like making it up to that Emerald here, definitely not an easy feat, and just maintaining position up there is harder still. Just shows that you have to continually compete at that top level. So yeah, definitely not an easy one to do. I believe the battlers should actually be starting up their matches soon, so hopefully not too much longer of a wait between the two. Actually, I did want to say one thing I noticed that we talked about in the last match was the cast form.
Yes.
We were talking about whether the fast move was going to be elected for the cast form. As we saw from Inner Blue Money 4, it is tackle. So opting for the balance of fast move damage over with the slightly less energy gain, but still able to spend out those moves. Curious to see what Shawnal will do in terms of his cast form as well.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely a niche little option you can pick there, whether you want to run that Hex. But looking into Shawnal's team, that Galvantula from Interbloom does not look as safe as it did against Mikey, with the addition of the Chestnut and the Nido King resisting those fast moves and being able to put on a lot of pressure back. Even though the moves from Chestnut are resisted, those Frenzy Plants still really chunk.
Definitely chunk hard. I believe it also, just due to its grass and fighting typing, it actually does threaten a good amount of Inner Bloom's team. Being able to Frenzy Plant the Samurott and the Kanto Sandslash, being able to hit hard against Galvantula and the Cast Form with, even though resisted on Cast Form still hurts, the Superpower onto Cast Form. Even Superpower from Chestnut onto a Blaziken would still do a fair whack of damage. Really only Jump Bluff is the only safe mon from the Chestnut in this matchup.
And the Jump Bluff has to worry about those Poison Jabbers too, the Beedrill and the Nido King giving it a lot of fast move pressure. So it'll be an interesting balance of building around the Chestnut and around Jump Bluff's weaknesses to see what Inner Bloom decides to do. Perhaps we'll see some Kanto Sandslash action.
Definitely hoping so. I'm definitely curious to see the moveset as well on that Kanto Sandslash. I believe Night Slash. The Night Slash is probably the guaranteed move in this regard, just being able to spam those out and just have a bait move of sorts. But then being able to elect going between the Earthquake and the Rock Tomb. So having the Rock Tomb definitely is a great way of nuking anything like the Galvantula, the Swoobat, the Beedrill, as Rock is super effective against those three. And then the EQ, just being a stab, heavy hitting move, would do a lot of damage to just about anything here, except the Chestnut and the Swoobat, obviously.
I'd almost think it does a lot to the Swoobat, just given how squishy that thing is. I just don't think it takes moves very well, but you still have the Night Slash ready to go for that Psychic type Swoobat as it is. The other thing I really like here is that the the Samurott has a fairly neutral match up against most things except for that Chestnut, but even then the Megahorn looks really quite threatening for that as well. So it could be an interesting save switch option here for Inner Bloom to bring in that Samurott and really dish out a lot of spammy Hydro Cannons with that Fury Cutter fast move.
You're not wrong there. Yeah, I would say that's actually a really really interesting strategy there. I would believe that the Samurott could be the bait at the Chestnut, maybe allowing for the Cast Form in the back to be able to be a little bit more safer. So perhaps as a way to just clear the way for it. Maybe if you were to do that strategy, I believe you would lead the Jump Off perhaps, just so you have that one strong answer against the Chestnut.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. As we see the game starting here, we've got the Kanto Sandslash on Inner Bloom's side, leading into that shiny Nidoking from Sean Alkuma. This is a good matchup for the Sandslash as Sean decides to switch out to his Cast Form.
Switching out into the Blaziken, so obviously a really good matchup for the Blaziken here. I believe there might be a little bit of lag on Sean's end there. I believe he stopped tapping, so hopefully just a brief connection error.
Yes, this doesn't look intentional, that's for sure.
No, I do not believe Sean was intending for the Blaziken to get this much energy. So, with a connection issue like this, I'm sure there'll be maybe a rematch in the works at the moment.
Well, it looks like Sean is somewhat back alive.
Yeah,
but,
the Cast Form coming back. Cast Form coming back for a tackle here and there. So I believe a rematch will be done by this. But seeing the lines so far, we had a Nidoking lead from Shawnal into a Cast Form. So maybe it was the same strategy that we thought of, where you would have the anti-Blaziken in the lead and maybe two things in the back tweak to it. So wanting to use something to bait it out.
Yeah, that Blaze Kick also does a lot of damage to that Nidoking. I don't know if it's much of a counter now that I look at it. If there's 50% or more, it's amazing.
So Kanto Sandslash coming back in here. I believe, actually, with the energy that Nidoking farmed up, this could be a Megahorn. It is the Megahorn. Probably going to do a good, definitely about 60% to that. And then Galvantula onto the Chestnuts towards the end there. So, as we were discussing earlier, actually...
Smackdown Chestnut. So this is a lot less safe for
I didn't notice that.
As we thought. Now Inner Bloom going for that lunge to try and reduce that fast move pressure. But as you can see, already below half health here on this Galvantula. Chestnut going to have to probably... Oh no, he's able to farm down before it wears anything. And look at this. This is a potential win here for Sean Alkuma. Despite letting his Cast Form go for naught, it's really coming down to the wire.
So this comes down to all resisted moves from both the Kanto Sandslash and the Chestnut, because Smackdowns are resisted against the ground typing of the Kanto Slash, but if you look at the Kanto Sandslash, it's got Mudshot, Rock Tomb, and Night Slash, all of which are resisted against this Chestnut.
Really going to be a matter of who's going to outlast who here, as we see the Rock Tomb going through,
the Rock Tomb doing no damage.
And it's a switch out into the Nidoking. Caught the Night Slash. This is also clearing the debuff from the Chestnut.
Wow, even despite this lag, this might actually still be a win con for it. Comes back in with a Chestnut. Can he get to a super... okay. Does it survive this Rock Tomb? It's resisted. And really non-stab either.
Coming down to the wire here. Rock Tomb going through. Doesn't KO.
Doesn't go through.
And the move
CMP!
coming. look at that. Shaunel Kumar, despite all odds, pulling through an amazing win. I think if I'm in a bloom, I'm disputing for lag there.
I actually don't. Yeah, that's a hard one to call because I mean, Shaunel evidently lagged at the start, allowing pretty much his entire cast form to go down without without any damage on the Blaziken, but still managed to turn that around. So I believe it'll be up to the competitors, or maybe even ban bosses, to see whether a rematch to come through. But I don't know. As Shaunel, I would say that's a pretty well deserved win there.
Look, by my books, I'd be giving that one to Chanel, but we can't take sides here on the commentary's team.
No,
But it's
no,
an
definitely not.
amazing game to witness there from Chanel. Just really dug himself out of the deepest hole I think I've seen anyone dig out of in Pokemon Go PvP. That was a tough spot.
The moveset, Smackdown Chestnut. I don't think either one of us expected that one. We were both definitely expecting the Vine Whip on that. So that's a really, really interesting moveset choice from Shaunel.
Yeah, I wasn't anticipating it at all, but it really makes sense here. For Chanel as a really good way to answer that Galvantula as well as the jump off. I mean, it's really quite a unique tech to run on that Chestnut.
Actually, the Smackdown makes it neutral against the Blaziken as well, just due to the fact that Blaziken having its fire and fighting typing, Smackdown actually is neutral against it. So, okay, we're going into I'm guessing a game 2. Kanto Sandslash into Galv.
Yeah, and this is probably good for the Galvantula here, although it still has to watch out for that Rock Tomb coming through. As we see in the Bloom reaching for that now, does Shaunel elect to shield this move?
Does shield. Okay, so he does expect a Rock Tomb here. Lunge coming out from the Galvantula, I would assume as Discharge is resisted. Yeah, so Lunge does a good 40% to the to the Kanto Sandslash, sorry.
And both Pokemon here now attack debuffed as we see the switch into the Chestnut from Shaunel. The Smackdown's not doing much into that Sandslash, but is met by the normal cast form.
It's an interesting swap from Inner Bloom. Obviously, having the Smackdown it's a much slower charging move than Vine Whip would be. So I believe what happened there, move was thrown, I believe, because I see a shield down for Inner Bloom at the moment. Going for the Hurricane. So this would definitely one-shot the Chestnut if left unshielded.
And it does. Does a lot of damage there. What does Shaunel decide to do now? Does he come back in with the Chestnut? No, he brings in his own Nidoking. And look, the Castleman's going to have to go for another Hurricane here because those Weather Balls are resisted.
Does reach the Hurricane. All right, now we can see if Shaunel elects to shield this one. This will do a good chunk of damage to that Nidoking. Throws it, and it is shielded.
So Shaunel going down 2 shields, but does get the farm down on that cast form, coming out with a lot of energy. The Inner Bloom going to have to make a decision here on whether he wants to bring in his Kanto Sandslash, but he's brought in the Samurott. Will this be the Mega Horn, or will it be a Sand Tomb bait? And it is the bait, which is shielded by Inner Bloom.
So, I mean, okay, so throwing another move, is this a Mega Horn or another Sand Tomb?
And it is the Mega Horn.
It's the Mega Horn.
Oh, one-shotting that Samurott, and now is met by the Sandslash. Galv switches in, throwing the lunge.
This has surely got a KO to Sandslash at this point. Sandslash is so low. Takes it out.
Shaunel, look at that.
Wow. Okay, so Shaunel, Shaunel winning that quite dominantly. Still had nearly a full health Galv in the back, and a good half of a Nidoking left. Getting that Sand Tomb bait with the Nidoking, letting that Mega Horn was huge for Shaunel, as that Samurott definitely could have caused a lot of difficulties in the back.
I'll tell you one thing, I don't think Beedrill could have done that.
Yeah. I was definitely doubting Nidoking for this meta, but Shawnal proving me wrong every step of the way, proving that Nidoking is actually a very strong meta pick for this one.
Certainly seems that way. I mean, obviously with the sims that we see on PvPoke, those Sand Tomb baits do tend to weigh in its favor. However, when it turns out in a game sense like that, and the opponent does shield the Sand Tomb, and then it has to wear a Mega Horn when they're debuffed from a very attack-weighted mon like Nidoking, obviously it has a lot of damage potential. And we see here,
Absolutely.
must be a game 3.
Game 3. Oh, okay, hang on. This is actually a good lead though, because just because it's SmackDown, yeah, he's so switching out into the Galvantula, and Nina Bloom responding with the Kanto Sandslash here.
Yeah, we see now the first move coming through from Shawnal. Goes unshielded by Inner Bloom. Most likely going to be a lunge, and it is coming through now. It does put that Sandslash under half health as he goes for that Rock Tomb. I wonder if Galvantula can take this now that the attack has been debuffed.
It can take this, so it survives on red, but once debuffed, it actually does survive that Rock Tomb. Not by a lot though. It does put it into a farm down range. So Galv going for another lunge, does in a Bloom Shield. He does not. Survives.
On just a small amount of HP, gets off this Night Slash, which probably won't do a lot of damage now it's been 2 times debuffed, and looking to keep both shields for his back line. We see the cast one coming in now, looking to chip away at this Galvantula, and it's met by another charge move.
I assume Inner Bloom will be going for the farm down at this point. Lets it go, expecting another lunge, and calls it well. So knowing that with only a Chestnut at the back to mostly threaten, yeah, if the Samurott comes in, and the Samurott is just so strong towards his back line. Not knowing that there's not a Vine Whip Chestnut in the back to really threaten it.
And that's Hydro Cannon absolutely washing away that Nidoking. Inner Bloom now taking a commanding lead in this game 3 with a 2-shield advantage. But this Galvantula is going to put in a lot of work here with those fast moves. Putting the Samurott low, I wonder now if Shawnal's in a spot where he can fast move down this Samurott before it gets to 2 Mega Horns.
It looks like Inner Bloom going for a bait with the Hydro Cannon, probably expecting Shawnal to want to keep that Chestnut alive, and the shield does come up. The bait goes through successfully. Now going for that hard-hitting Mega Horn.
While it's only neutral, it's still going to do a lot of damage from the attack-weighted mon like Samurott. As you can see, it puts this Chestnut into the red. Chestnut does get the farm down, but now this cast form just has to chip away with these 2 shields and are not
going for the Rock Weather Ball. This is resisted, but with the low HP of the Chestnut, I'm expecting him to put it low enough to tackle down. Inner Bloom, well, was close to 2 shield flexing, but Shawnal not allowing that to happen. Still elects to throw the move just to force that shield out of Inner Bloom as he takes game 3. Still not 100% sure if they're doing a rematch. I don't believe they are, as I see a GG's from Inner Bloom to Shawnal. So I believe Shawnal takes that 2-1.
And makes his way into the grand final. What an amazing set from those 2 battlers. Shawnal really digging out of that hole by his bootstraps and just picking it up, not letting that lag get the best of him, and flipping what looked like a dire situation into an actual advantage. An amazing set of battles.
Oh, definitely. I mean everyone was the SmackDown from that Chestnut really throwing off, I think, the game plan that Inner Bloom had for game 1. Expecting the Galv to be a good answer to that Chestnut, and then looking at it, SmackDown Chestnut doesn't really have too much. Like the biggest threat is that Samurott, just because nothing else can really nothing else can definitely threaten the Chestnut. I mean, jump off with a 2-shield Chestnut is not a healthy matchup for it either, just due to SmackDown's adding up over time.
I would expect the Blaziken matchup is still quite close because you're outpacing to those Blaze Kicks quite significantly. But even still, it doesn't want to take those neutral Smackdowns because Blaziken has about 3 HP and 0 defense.
Blaziken is all about hitting hard. and hopefully not getting hit back. So I believe the next matchup, if we can just see who we have for the next semi-finals, we have Dennis up against Triple Crits.
Yeah, another pair of top tier battlers in the Australian grassroots scene. Triple Crit, really good in these Sylph metas, finishing often at the high end of the leaderboards for the Australian rankings, and Dennis as well, often right up there on the front page, making a big splash.
Yeah, I definitely see Dennis as one of the more consistent battlers out there. You look at all of his records in terms of Sylph factions or even Gym Breakers, which is another competitive format for players to compete in. His numbers are always just consistent. So he's definitely not one to underestimate. So definitely curious to see how this match is going to go in terms of these two competitors. Having a sneak peek at some of the teams here as well. I believe that's a bit more of a, well, I'm not sure it's spicy, but definitely a slightly different team from Triple Crit here.
Yeah, I love this. The Donphan and the Orangaroo as well. Those two we haven't seen yet tonight. Both teams also rocking the Dugong, which we haven't seen much of. I know that's a mirror match that I would love to avoid. That takes forever to play out. But certainly a few different picks here. Really liking it.
What do you mean? Do you not want to see a good 4-minute matchup between two Dugongs throwing double resisted icy winds at each other? I feel like that would be a pretty good. I feel like that'd be pretty action packed.
It would be as exciting as watching paint dry. That's for sure.
Grass grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ah.
It's not my first option of matchups to watch, but I mean, if he gets that Donphan in there, that thing's gonna put in some fast-paced action with the counter and body slam spam.
I
Also,
don't believe it's that healthy of a matchup for it though, just because the ice shards and icy winds from Dugong are also super effective back to it. So I believe that is a bit of a I think that's a matchup where both are quite strong into each other. So that I believe that's going to be a shield dependent scenario as to who wins that. I believe with more shields up, maybe the Dugong wins that as it's able to icy wind and debuff the Donphan as the match progresses.
absolutely, but Donphan's like a little rolly elephant thing, so I mean, it wins on style points, does it not?
That's a good way to put it. Rolly elephant thing. Yeah, I like that one.
I don't really know how else to describe Donphan, but there it is.
Is Donphan like a wild boar? Is it an elephant? Like, I'm not actually sure what a Donphan is. Does anyone in chat actually know what animal a Donphan is based off?
Well, even the fan, like elephant, I was just running off that, but it could be a pig. Who knows? Who
I
knows?
mean, like, yeah, I would say an elephant's probably more accurate, but I would say that thing is more of a pig than an elephant, to be honest. I mean, then you look at Triple Crit's team. He's got definitely going with a bit of a zoo theme. He's got the monkey in there with the Orangaroo as well. So
Yeah, he's got the seal, he's got the monkey, the spider. I don't know what cast form is, but it's certainly an interesting matchup. You can see both trainers having those confusion users. Obviously, the Psychic Fangs from Swoobat does that extra little bit of chip damage when you get those defense debuffs coming through. But the foul play back on Orangaroo's side makes that matchup probably into Orangaroo's favor. And also looking at this, I would suggest that the Galvantula and Triple Cric's team is pretty safe as well.
I kind of agree with you there. It's quite strong against the Swoobat, the Dugong. I would say really his best answers for the Galv are Beedrill and Cast Form, but even then they take just so much damage from Galvantula's discharge and Volt switches. So no real answer from Dennis's side against that Galvantula. Yeah, actually it's going to be interesting. I believe that Triple Crit should bring that Galvantula every game. Just as either can have it as a lead or maybe even as a safe swap.
Yeah, as a safe swap, it looks like it's got a lot of potential play. Getting up by 1 volt switch puts that thing in a scary position, that's for sure. Nothing really wants to take too many moves from that squishy spider, but looking at this, I think Dennis really might have to rely on using his cast form as a potential safe swap here to really put a lot of fast move and charge move pressure onto Triple Crit's team, forcing those shields out early.
And then just looking at Dennis, like I wouldn't feel safe bringing that Blaziken in as well, like because Triple Crit can look at running that cast form as well. Seeing as honestly, Rock Weatherball hits majority of the team for like a good portion of the team for super effective as well. And then if he's running the Hurricane, like in a Bloom Did, it can hit the Blaziken. So the cast form looks quite safe. And Dennis kind of risky to bring that the Blaziken in. That's another safe pick for Triple Crit. So in terms of looking at this matchup, I think Triple Crit has a much safer matchup out of the two. But we
can see both trainers are locked in.
Locked in, okay.
And we see the Galvantula led into the Donphan. Great lead here for Triple Crit.
Absolutely. So we'll see if Dennis elects to swap out of this. He stays in. Okay, so does 1 volt switch and swaps out, maybe just wanting to get a slight energy lead for later. Triple Crit swapping that Galvin to that Dugong.
Yeah, you can see here the Dugong going for the Icy Wind. We'll get that guaranteed attack debuff off into the Galvantula before it gets to a move, really limiting the output of damage here from this Galvantula. As you see Triple Crit over farming a little bit before going for this discharge.
Triple Crit actually doing the perfect timing on those moves. 2 volt switches to 3 ice shards, making sure he maximizes the energy that he gets for his damage getting in as well. So we'll see what Dennis wants to bring in. Probably the Galvantula, yes.
Yep, Dennis bringing in his own Galvantula now. We see Triple Crit going for the lunge, going to get that attack debuff. Attack debuff's going left and right in this match. Unshielded by Dennis. He's keeping his shields for that back Pokemon and now going for his own lunge in return.
Triple Crit will let this go. Probably not wanting to preserve a low health Galv. Maybe wanting to let the Donphan in and see if he can put any work in, which he does now. The body slam coming through from the Donphan. Does counters able to let it charge up quite quickly there.
We see a first shield from Dennis here, hoping to get off his own lunge before the Donphan gets to too many moves. And this lunge will go through. Does Triple Crit elect to shield here?
He does shield. I just realized it's actually the cast form in the back. And it's a Hex cast form. Okay.
Hex cast form now met by the Oranguru, which will be heavily resisting these hexes. And the cast form might have to be forced here to go for those heavy hitting hurricanes, as those rock weather balls really don't add up too much.
Going, I'm assuming for a foul play at this point, yeah. So Dennis realizing he needs to shield the move up, shields that one hex, and then the hurricane, hoping to get that move in. This will do a good chunk of damage to Oranguru, but it should survive easily. Yeah, only brings it down to the yellow. Still plenty of health on it.
As we see here now, Dennis going for the rock weather ball, recognizing he wouldn't make it to the hurricane before the next move from the Oranguru comes through, wanting to make sure he gets that chip damage in, but not quite enough to KO. Can he get to another move here? No! Triple Crit getting that foul play off just in the nick of time. And KOing.
Taking it out. And should be one confusion to take out there we go. Dennis going down. Both simul KO, but Triple Crit still having that Donphan in the back. So looks like Dennis was a little bit core broken by that Donphan running the Galvantula lead with the cast form in the back. So we might have to see a bit of an adaptation by Dennis just because of the Donphan kind of core breaking his line of 3 in that game.
Yeah, you're right. If you're Dennis, what do you do? What do you bring to counter that Donphan?
Not really sure. I mean, it has to be the Dugong. Dugongs and maybe the Blaziken. I guess Swoobat as well is actually kind of decent against it. Just Swoobat double resisting those counters with the Psychic and Flying typing. Blaziken just as a neutral matchup, being able to put those counters in, but receiving neutral counters back. So maybe that's kind of a even matchup there. Beedrill, also I guess an okay matchup, like double resistant to counters, but also single resistant poison jabs against it. So that would be more of a neutral matchup as well.
Yeah, and then those body slams do come through thick and fast. Donphan, a hard-hitting Pokemon, is going to draw out some shields out of a lot of those mons that Dennis is running. It's quite a squishy team. The real bulk coming from that Dugong and the cast form. And that Dugong still does take super effective from those counters, even though they're non-stab, and you can still hit back super effectively. So Dennis going to have to do a little bit of creative thinking here to work around this Donphan. While Triple Crit, I wonder if he adjusts expecting any changes from Dennis, perhaps adjusting for a potential Blaziken.
I mean, you look at the team that Triple Crit ran last time, he ran. Oh, okay, we're going into the next one. So we got Oranguru into Cast Form. Okay, so not the best matchup for Cast Form here.
As we saw the Hex moveset from Dennis earlier, meaning that those fast moves are resisted by the Oranguru, whereas the tackle version would not be. And we see now that Dennis is going above energy for a Hurricane, and a move is being thrown by Triple Crit.
We do see the Blaziken in the back going for the Psychic. That's a hard hitting move there, and the Confusion gets the debuff as well. So going for the Hurricane, we do see the Blaziken in back for Dennis right now. So maybe this is kind of where he wants to see the Oranguru, just knowing that at least the Blaziken should be safe from it.
So throwing that Hurricane, switching out into his Galvantula to meet this Oranguru, gonna have to either shield or wear this move now. Does shield the foul play? Will Dennis go for a farm down?
I believe he should, yeah. One more Volt Switch takes it out, and Dennis now loaded with energy on that Galvantula. So even the Donphan coming in, 2 lunges should still chunk it down pretty hard now.
Yeah, Triple Crit still with 2 shields in play here. Will he elect to use his first shield here? No, he does not. Knows that he can take it, and now is going to have to make the decision once again with the second lunge coming through, putting this Donphan -2 attack.
Just realized as well that Dennis actually switched out of that cast form into the Galvantula. I thought the cast form went down to the Confusion. So it looks like he is keeping. Maybe he's trying to keep that cast form later for a potential catch.
Yeah, definitely preserving the health there. Does try to go for the catch. Doesn't quite get it off.
Doesn't quite get it.
Doesn't quite get the Rock Weather Ball through. And now is going to have to be forced to shield whatever move is thrown here from Triple Crit. And it is the lunge, which is
double resisted lunge.
And that feels bad, but unfortunately, this is a tough spot here for Dennis. Triple Crit going now for what we'd expect to be the discharge. And it does come through with another lunge. Not quite KOing.
I believe we're going for a little bit of a BM there, or maybe even just trying to hide his moveset. So he might be running something a little bit different, maybe an energy ball, or for something else. Perhaps just trying to hide the moveset.
Did we not see it into the Dugong in game 1?
A discharge? Oh, did we? I thought he did. Right, yeah. So okay. So me, I was trying to defend Triple Crit there, but turns out he's just going straight for the BM. So we can't. Yeah, we can't really expect much less.
They bit of BMing. We love to see it.
Here I was thinking that Triple Crit was actually going to be a courteous competitor. Nah, I was expecting wrong from him, having to go for that BM.
Look,
so it looks like the battlers are going for a third now. Triple Crit actually taking that match with Dennis 2-0. So they are going for a third now.
Yeah, so we will have Triple Crit and Sean Akuma into the grand final. Triple Crit, a previous winner of the Australis Shield, and Shauna has not yet won it. So it'll be a battle of old versus new here to see who can take home this month's trophy.
I'd definitely be definitely curious to see that matchup as well. Sean proving himself to be a good competitor, taking out Inner Bloom, and Triple Crit working his way through the competition right now, winning 3-0 against his first competitor, and now taking down Dennis 2-0. So, but looking into this game 3, Looks like there's a little bit of a connection error just due to what everyone knows as the fun of trying to send a matchup to each other and one person not really seeing it.
Like they've both sent themselves battle requests as well, so neither of them are going to receive the other person's battle. But all in the name of fun with this this game. As we have a look here, I mean, adjusting for the third game, obviously bringing that Blaziken in was a good pick, but it didn't really quite get the job done there where it needed to against that Galvantula.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I think I do like what Dennis tried to do with the catch onto the cast form, or maybe not even the catch. Maybe he was trying to time it so that he gets his hex and the weather ball off, but maybe just slightly not getting that right. But still a really strong attempt there. If he was able to either get that catch or even get the weather ball off, that definitely would have made the game a lot closer for him.
Yeah,
So it was a really good attempt.
But I'm excited for this game 3 coming through. Some more Don fan content. I hope. We love to
Elephant
see
Pig.
more Elephant Pig battles coming
More
through.
Elephant Pig.
As we see, Dennis is locked in, just waiting for Triple Crit to select his team. And as we go into this third battle ahead of the grand finals, Triple Crit once again has already secured his spot in the final against Sean Alkuma. And this game is for a bit of, I guess, bragging rights to say I didn't get swept.
Or for Triple Crits and hoping, yes, I can sweep people as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I'm definitely. Do we see a bit of a? Do we see like a bit of a team change up for Triple Crit? Maybe wanting to run some of the Pokemon he hasn't actually used yet. Or do we? Sorry, voice is going. Or do we see the farm? Or do we see the zoo animals coming back in? And we do see the Elephant Pig back in.
Elephant Pig versus the Love Bat, and the Galvantula comes in to meet the Swoobat, and Cast Form is counter swapped by Dennis here. First move already coming through from this Galvantula into the Cast Form. Dennis no shielding, recognizing he can take whatever move, and is now going to go for that Rock Weather Ball, which will do super effective damage.
Yeah, I believe with the debuff though, probably shouldn't be able to take it out. Hex, not exactly the hardest hitting move either, so it's going to be a bit of a difficult farm down trying to get this through. So we see another move coming from the Galv now, likely another lunge.
This time Dennis does opt to shield. He's hoping that he can win this switch matchup, going for that fast move down, and he just gets there in time with plenty of energy to spare.
Unfortunately, this energy doesn't really go that far though, because it's double resisted. A double resisted non-stab hurricane probably won't really do that much to Don fan, who can just come here and farm down now. Elects to throw the resisted Rock Weather Ball though, maybe hoping to get a shield.
Yep, doesn't get the shields, switches out, preserving a little bit of energy. Now comes the Swoobat in to get a Psychic Fangs off, debuffing the defense of this already squishy Elephant Pig rolling poly thing.
Does get the defense debuff, and okay, Triple Crit electing to throw the move, throwing that body slam, does a decent chunk. I wonder what he's got in the back that he's not wanting to swap this out though. Yeah. Oh, okay, catches a Psychic Fang on a Rangaroo. That was a nice pivot there by Triple Crit.
Triple Crit timing that really well, catches that not effective Psychic Fangs onto his Oranguru, going for the confusion down, and the Swoobat not able to get off the second Psychic Fangs into the Oranguru there, and Dennis bringing in his own Galvantula. He's got a shield advantage, but his health is getting quite low here for Triple Crit.
Yeah, this is not a good position for Dennis right now, just because there is still that he's 2 shields down, and there's still a 2 shield Don fan in the back with, I believe, a good chunk of energy. So I'm not really sure how Dennis is going to be able to play this out. We do see the shield from the Oranguru though.
We see a switch into the Cast Form, gets the Weather Ball off this time. Will this be enough to KO the Oranguru?
I don't believe so. Oh, it still gets a shield though. Okay, so definitely I'm surprised by this play. Although shield's down, I'm assuming this would either be a foul play or a psychic, which do a good chunk of damage. It
See,
is
there's
the foul play.
not quite enough to KO. Switching into his Donphan, gets off another move on low health. This
Oh.
is really well timed here from Triple Crit, sealing the deal on his 3-0 victory against Dennis.
Yeah, that was really well timed. Switching and getting that body slam through, knowing that even though the Don fan was on low, it wasn't going to take the damage from the Volt Switch. Just due to the long duration of the Volt Switch. So really well played by Triple Crit, getting that 3-0 against Dennis and making his way to the finals against Shawnal.
A deserved grand final spot here for Triple Crit, really showing his mastery of Elephant Pigs. Love to see these battlers using these spicy mons that you don't often get to see in regular format.
So bringing the monkey and the elephant pig, yeah, I definitely like those two picks there. Although moving into the finals, I'm curious to see what the matchup between those two will be like. I believe when Steve gets a chance, he'll put up the graphics for them. So we can see here we got Shawnal winning over Inner Bloom. Should update any second and see the win of Triple Crit over Dennis, and moving on to the grand finals from there. So trying to think back towards Shawnal's team. We know that he's got that SmackDown Chestnut.
That's right,
Which...
SmackDown Chestnut and the Nidoking.
True, yeah. Although looking at Shawnal's team, he's quite weak to that Oranguru. Oranguru Confusion dealing super effective damage to 3 of the Pokemon against this team. And Oranguru having that good matchup against the Swoobat as well. So I'm definitely expecting the monkey again from Triple Crit this all 3 games.
Yeah, Shawnal's really going to have a monkey on his back with this set of 3 battles here for the grand final. What would you be doing if you were Shawnal to try and alleviate some of this monkey pressure?
The cast form has to come in. Beedrill isn't the worst matchup either. It has the super effective X Scissors against Oranguru, just due to Oranguru's psychic typing. So the Beedrill is not the worst pick here either, and it's okay against the Donphan. And yeah, it's just going to be honestly quite rough for Shawnal. The Galvantula, I guess, has reasonably good play as well. I think Shawnal has to be as I would say neutral as he can. Build up energy on Pokemon wherever he can, and just really pressure everything that comes in. So it's definitely going to be quite rough for him.
Yeah, 100% here. But as we saw, Shawnal is on a hot streak tonight. He's not to be underestimated, especially in a bad situation. Really able to turn around those games previously against Inner Bloom. So as we await the next battles to get underway, I believe we do have a bit of a delay. Is there anything here that you're seeing that any Pokemon that you've seen tonight that are really impressing you that you might look to include on your teams?
As much as I wasn't sure about it before, I actually now have to say the Nidoking and the Elephant Pig. Those were 2 mons I honestly was not too impressed on at first look, but definitely now having my mind changed, seeing that these 2 were performing quite well. So yeah, definitely going to be looking more into these 2 for this month's Silph match. How about yourself? Any ideas you're getting from these mons we've seen so far tonight?
I'm really liking Galvantula. It seems really dominant in this meta. Like it's able to put in work even against its counters with those neutral lunges, getting a fast move farm downs onto some of the squishier mons in the cup like the Blaziken. I'm really impressed by how well it's been doing.
Yeah, definitely true there. Maybe another pick. I mean, I was looking at the Kanto Sandslash used by Inner Bloom earlier on as well. That was actually one of my first picks for this meta. Just kind of thinking because Kanto Slash just has a really interesting coverage. Although now realizing that Chestnut's Chestnuts floating around everywhere might be a little bit scary. Maybe people are going to be getting some inspiration from Shawnal on that one, especially with the SmackDown.
Yeah,
So
those
I
SmackDown.
definitely did not. Now looking at the SmackDown more though, you look at it and it's good against its own counters as well. Like Beedrill, you would expect as a counter to Chestnut. Swoobat as a counter to Chestnut. Having SmackDown actually helps the Chestnut against them. So that was some really, really good outside the box thinking from Shawnal with that moveset there.
Yeah, 100% right. And look, I'm interested to see whether we're going to see any of these sacrificial cast form strategies here employed by Chanel in this grand final series, because that obviously worked quite well for him earlier in the night. The old I'm pretending that I'm lagging, I'm lagging, I can't battle, and then comes around and absolutely demolishes his opponent with a Nidoking in the back. Like,
that was just a 5-head play of let's get Blaziken get all of the energy in the world and then still winning. So that's just maybe that was just like an ultimate flex by Shawnal there. Just like, yeah, I don't even need this cast form. You can have it free, and I'll still take you on. Or
absolutely.
as a Rocket Claire says, the sacrificial class form. Not even a sack swap. I'm just sacrificing it to the Blaziken.
So I don't need this thing. I'll let your Blaziken farm it down.
Oh, that still threw me off on that one. I believe the competitors are still just setting up their screens at the moment. I think just a bit of a technical error, technical issues between them. So hopefully we can get the stream coming up soon.
Hey, look, this screen sharing stuff, it isn't easy work, isn't that right?
No, mate, if you've seen any of the Australis Shields that I've participated in, trust me, yeah, my screen goes out almost every battle, so okay, hang on. Steve has a bit of a challenge for us. Can we say Triple's name 5 times fast? Okay.
Is it
Probably
triple
okay,
crit
yeah, I
or
was gonna
just
say
triple?
I was gonna say, we're gonna be saying the whole name? Yes, we probably could. Problem though, right, is the fact that we may have the slight mispronunciation that a few Play Pokemon members are known for these days. So as much as I would like to try it, I'm just going to say disclaimer, I might say the wrong one. So do you want to go first on that one, Fishy, or shall I?
I'm threading the gauntlet. I'm not afraid. Triple crit, triple crit, triple crit, triple crit, triple crit, triple crit, triple crit. Boom. Easy.
Cool, one of us did it. That's all we need, right? We don't need 2 of us to do it.
That's right. Yep. I hope you're happy, Steve.
Be fast. Piccolo, be fast on the bleep machine.
Just hold it. Just hold it. Don't turn it off.
Just bleep the whole. To start bleeping like the entirety of this conversation now, to be honest, because there might be. I mean, yeah, there might be a little slip up, especially as when we're going into these matches. May or may not have almost done it myself earlier. I think I caught myself, but I'd rather not anyone go back through that match and see if I actually did say it. So.
No comment.
No comment. Okay, so I think that may have been me saying that. To be fair, the problem with being friends with the guy and then making the meme of that joke, on almost any occasion I can get is now almost like that is his new name now, not his actual triple crit. So, I mean, we keep asking him to change the name, but we probably won't even get allowed on the on Pokemon Go's
It could be against terms of service. Yeah.
Hey, look, you can definitely get some names through. To be honest, this is like this. Well, I mean, whilst we're waiting, I feel like this would be a good time to tell this little story. So during OCIC, I actually got a formal warning from the Play Pokemon. Because of a couple of the nicknames I had for my Pokemon. As it turns out, that wasn't appropriate for it. So my Noctowl and my Galarian Stunfisk had some unique names. And the way I figure it, if Pokemon Go allows these names inside the game, surely it means it's fine, right? Turns out it's not. So,
yeah.
So as it turns out, you can get a formal warning from the head judge based on the names of your Pokemon, and then I had to actually redo the document with the new name. I had to redo the document with the new names of my Pokemon so that it wouldn't cause any further issues on that one. So there's a fun little story for everyone there. So
sure
just note, just a note. If you want to win a tournament, get a formal warning, because apparently that just like it puts pressure on for you to not stuff up again.
That's where I went wrong. Dang. That should have kept that one in mind for Brisbane.
You still came second. You must have had something that was almost illegally named.
I do believe my Medicham is called Yoga Pants, so maybe that was it.
It's called Gypsy Pants, actually.
Gypsy Pants. Well, there you go.
Gypsy Pants, yeah. I actually don't know if that's accurate or not. I think I got the wrong pants there, but I like the fact that we're going for the same sort of joke there. But,
Absolutely.
it looks like the competitors sending the matches to each other now. Hopefully they'll be ready soon. I'm definitely keen to crown the next Australis Shield winner. Basketball God says Hammer Pants.
Hammer Pants.
For Hammer Pants. Why Hammer Pants? Do elaborate on that one. I'm curious as to what the story on that one is.
Also, a good shout out there from Kawaii. There is no Wyoma. No Wyoma.
I know. No. Wait, is Wyoma actually in this? Is Wyoma in this meta?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, MC Hammer.
We're too young. Sorry about that.
Yeah, definitely. No, you're not old. We're just really ignorant.
Yeah, we don't watch any mainstream media. That's the problem. Yeah.
Okay, I knew. Wait, Whamma legitimately decent in Polkadot. All right, Steve, your challenge: run Whamma in every tournament you do this month.
He already has, I think. To be honest.
Has he? I haven't.
Yeah.
Wait, has he?
I think he has. He ran it at Sydney, and he ran it for
No,
a.
I mean, Sylph. Like he has to run it in. Like if Whamma is decent in Polkadot, he has to run it.
Well, that's true. That is true. I expect to see it in this month's Colossal. 100%.
Okay, Steve, can you tell us what is okay? I know Whelmer has actually. What is Whelmer's moveset? It's Water Gun and
Body
that's all I know.
Slam.
Body Slam.
Body Slam and Water Pulse.
Water Pulse. Okay, if it had like Surf or something, that would actually be a decent moveset on it.
Yeah, like a Body Slam Surf Spam would be.
That would
heavy,
actually be such
heavy slam.
I
like that.
What is like heavy slam? Okay, well that makes sense. You want heavy if you're running it in if you ran in Sydney, you want heavy slam for the Trevenant. So that actually works out kind of well. Oh, I guess it's actually kind of good. It's a good Alolan Ninetales coverage as well. Who's gonna expect to have to shield a Whelmer?
Oh, Whalmore Community Day Basher Ball God, that would be a lot of fun. A lot of big purple whales floating around. I'd love it.
A lot of big Thanos.
Thanos, yep. Classic. Those lines down the chin. Absolutely.
What move would they? I mean, it's a Whalmer Community Day, but goes to Whale Lord. What move would they give Whale Lord?
Water Spout.
Water Spout. Does Whale Lord learn Body Slam as well?
Yeah. Not sure if it does in Pokemon Go. Can't say I've used too much Whale Lord in my days.
I have one built. I should know, but I haven't. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't actually delved into it.
It gets Surf and Body Slam. There you go.
Surf and wait in Pokemon Go or in the main series?
In Pokemon Go.
Why is Whale Lord not meta? That's such a good moveset.
Because it's kind of bad.
I mean, look, Whalmer just made top 6 at Sydney, or like top 5.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe
it takes a special amount of skill. Only Steve can win it.
I mean, Steve I believe he ran, what was it, a Shadow Ampharos in OCIC as well.
I think he ran that in Brisbane too, actually. Spicy little Shadow Ampharos. Love to see it.
Do you not understand what meta is? Or are you just like, I'm going to be that one guy that just throws everyone off? Because that is Oh, Whale Lord lacking the bulk that Whaleman has. Ah, okay, that makes sense now. Who is meta? What is meta? Why is meta?
Never meta.
Never, never meta. But actually, realizing it, looking at the teams that we had for tonight in
Battles.
we got a game starting. So sorry for all the waffling that we did, guys. We'll actually get into the commentary now.
So we've got the Dugong upon triple crit into the Beedrill. This is a fairly neutral matchup, but the bulk of Dugong probably gives it a bit of favoritism
Oh.
here.
The immediate swap out into Galv and triple crit responding with the Donphan.
So Shawnell now able to get this lunge off just before the body slam comes through. Triple crit, no shooting it, knows he can take one, builds up one more counter before throwing the body slam, and does Shawnell decide to shield this?
No shield. Knows his debuff. It does not too much damage here, but I believe I was gonna say I believe Shawnell should outpace that lunge. So triple crit actually forcing the shield the Galv just to maintain switch, but actually lets it go here.
Yeah, Donphan's let go. Galvantula has only a little bit amount of health here, and triple crit still got 2 shields remaining. Comes back in with his cast form to try and go for the tackle down.
And does achieve that tackle down. Nicely done. And as we can see from Shawnell's line here, he comes in with the Beedrill, which will take the super effective Rock Weather Balls here. So, do we see a shield from Shawnell here?
Shawnell going for the no shield, and it looks to me like Castform was running the double Weather Ball strat as well, with the normal and the Rock Weather Balls coming through, which is an interesting tech that we haven't seen yet tonight.
Oh, okay. So Beedrill going for that drill run against the Castform. No shield from triple crit. Maybe expecting that. Oh, okay, and switches out into the Dugong and is met by the Smackdown Chestnut here.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting matchup. I'm not sure how the Smackdown will change this at all, but the Dugong now going for an Icy Wind, getting that attack debuff. You have to say, given the nature of the debuffs, it's probably in Dugong's favor.
I would say so here, because I believe that Smackdown to Superpower and the Ice Shards into the Icy Winds actually pace very similarly, but with Icy Winds debuffs, the Smackdowns would just start doing much more damage. Although it's still putting in a lot of work against that Dugong.
Yeah, that Dugong's down deep in the red now as Shawnell goes for a Frenzy Plant. Triple crit electing to shield this one, knows that he needs to preserve whatever he can left of this Dugong to get another potential Icy Wind off. But Shawnell just able to get to another Frenzy Plant in time, forcing the second shield out of triple crit.
1 HP and a Dream, I think, from the looks of that Chestnut, and coming in, has the Icy Wind for that Beedrill, no shields left for Shawnell. That Dugong coming in clutch and taking out the victory for triple crit in game 1 here.
Yeah, really come down to the wire there with that final matchup. Both trainers had low health Pokemon in the back. Really quite well played there by triple crit to make sure he seals that deal with those Icy Wind debuffs.
I do like how well Shawnell played that Galv into Donphan, knowing that with Dugong's 3-turn moves, it might take a little bit of time to swap out into that Donphan into Galv, but by that point, Galv has enough energy to outpace the Donphan to 2 moves, allowing the Galv actually to take switch against something that should counter it theoretically. So really well played by Shawnell in that matchup there.
Yeah, once again, highlighting the strengths of the Galvantula in this meta. I really do think it's going to be one to watch for this upcoming month. The flexibility to hit most of its counters for at least neutral damage and still debuffing them says a lot for this Pokemon in the meta.
Second, there is a call for Energy Ball Galv in this meta, just because of the ground types that could be that are floating around.
I'm not sure if there's a lot of ground types in the meta aside from the Donphan and Nidoking, and one of those takes neutral damage from the Energy Ball. So I think that the standard moveset is probably the way to go most of the time, unless you're playing a certain cup where you're allowed to TM moves between rounds. But for the general, I would say that you want to run the standard set. What sort of changes are we expecting here from Shawnell to try and bring it back to a 1-1 situation?
I think he's definitely going to be. I think he knows that the dugong is strong, so I believe. Oh, I mean, he's running tackle rock weather ball in the cast form, so I would expect maybe a mixture of the chestnut, galvantula, and maybe the normal cast form. Just because he knows that dugong. Honestly, the dugong is just strong, kind of against the entire team, and even against Galv. A little bit of energy and shields up. Dugong actually isn't that bad against the Galv, despite taking the super effective damage, just due to it's a very tanky Pokemon there.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that we didn't see from Triple Crit was that Oranguru that last game. So I'm interested to see whether Triple Crit adjusts and brings it this game. As we see Donphan into the Galvantula once again here, Triple Crit leading the Donphan. Good matchup.
Really good lead for the Donphan here. So Shawnell electing to stay in. We can see he's got that Chestnut in the back, which makes this matchup, which means he is slightly core broken by his Donphan, as Chestnut can't really hit the Donphan for any fast move pressure.
Yeah, and we see that body slam comes through before the lunge debuff this time. Does a little bit more damage than it did in the last game, as the lunge gets no shielded by Triple Crit, and Shawnell switches into his Beedrill.
Oh, was that a simul KO between them, or was that just fast reaction by the Triple Crit there, switching into that cast form as well? Beedrill going for that drill run, which will do a good amount of damage to the cast form, which is shielded.
Yeah, and we see the cast form now reaching for that rock type weather ball before the Beedrill gets to another move. This will put the Beedrill in a really low health if it does go unshielded, as it does. Really.
Jess makes that X scissor as well with a very low amount of HP. If Triple Crit is counting, he'll know it's an X and likely no shield, which we do see here.
Triple Crit winning switch, but sacrificing a shield in that matchup. Interesting to see now what Shawnell decides to do to get rid of this little ball of spam.
So Triple Crit going for the normal weather ball now. So this will be neutral against the Chestnut. Gets a shield from Shawnell, maybe expecting a hurricane on it. So Triple Crit going for the more spam, the safe spam option here, but still gets a shield out of it.
Yeah, you see the normal type weather ball coming through, putting that Chestnut below half health, and Triple Crit waiting out the switch timer, brings in the Donphan, resisting those fast move smackdowns. But here comes a Frenzy Plant from Shawnell. This will likely get the last shield off Triple Crit.
Does get the shield here, and comes in with the Galvantula now. Shields are down for Triple Crit, but has a body slam ready for that Galv.
Galvantula also really low in health now. Despite having a shield advantage, I'm not sure it can get rid of both the Donphan and the Dugong that's awaiting it in back. We see the lunge now coming through. This will get rid of the Donphan.
But this sets up the Dugong to get a nice farm down onto the Galv, and it should be able to outpace the Chestnut to its move. I believe that was three ice shards there, so 2 more. It should reach it, and there we go. It hits the icy wind, able to take out that Chestnut, and that solidifies the 2-0 victory for Triple Crit over Shawnell.
Yeah, really well played there by Triple Crit. Really felt like he was on top of the game at all times there, maintaining switch, having good alignment where he wanted it, and really making the most of those mons when he had them in the positions that he needed them to be in.
Definitely really well played. And I believe with that 2-0, we have actually now gotten our Australis Shield champion. However, we are probably going to be seeing if they will play out their game 3. But congratulations to Triple Crit. He is now Polkadot Australis Shield champion.
I believe this is his second Shield title as well, getting his first Shield title in January of this year. An amazing result here from Triple Crit, really showcasing his great skills in this Sylph Grassroots format.
Yeah, definitely really well done by him. Bit of an ingoing joke between him and I, where he says that if I'm competing on it, then it's usually kind of annoying because we've matched up in the finals a couple of times now.
Yeah.
So little bit of a banter between us there. So, but honestly, with the way he's playing tonight, I don't think anyone was really going to be taking him out. He's just so on point with his gameplays, with his reads as well, like winning the lead. And I think majority of the games he's done so far tonight, he's been very on point. So really, really well done by him. He's definitely got this meta. He's definitely got the meta figured out pretty well at this stage.
He's definitely got it in a lock. He's figured out that the elephant pig is 100% the way to go, and it is unbeatable in this meta.
Oh, yeah.
That looks
Elephant
like
pig. Right, I'm going to look into using that one now.
looks like
Oh,
we've
we
got
do
a
have a
game
game 3.
3. As we see
Alright.
now, Orangaroos come to the field for the first time, met by the Swoobat.
Alright, so not a good matchup for Shawnal again. Once again, Triple Crit reading the leads really well here. The foul player will be doing super effective damage against that Swoobat. Is it just me, or is the Orangaroo invisible on Shawnal's side? I believe that's that must be a very rare. Oh no, that's back again.
Oh, it's back.
I
thought
thought it was
the
just a rare, rare variant of the invisible Orangaroos.
maybe that cloak he's wearing is Harry Potter's invisibility cloak. Who knows?
Psychic Fang coming in, not going to do a lot. Resisted damage. So another foul play coming through. Catches the foul play on the Chestnut though. This will be resisted.
Yeah, this is a great catch here from Shawnal. However, he's gonna have to wear a few confusions here from this fighting type Chestnut.
Switches out into the Donphan. This is really well played by Triple Crit, knowing that Donphan not exactly that good against the Swoobat, but actually has really good play against the Chestnut just due to it being Smackdown rather than the Vine Whip variant.
We see Shawnal Kuma going for the shield here and throwing his Frenzy Plant back at Triple Crit, hoping to get a shield in return and even this matchup just a little bit.
Gets a shield with a Frenzy Plant, and Triple Crit farming up plenty, knowing that it takes a long time for Smackdown to get to the next move. And farms down all the way.
That's a really good farm down there for Triple Crit as the Swoobat comes back in, throwing the Psychic Fangs, getting the last shield out of Triple Crit as well. He wants to preserve the energy that he just spent so much time building up as the Galvantula comes in to soak it up.
Oh, okay. So, okay, this is kind of interesting here because there's so much energy on this Donphan though. It's going to hit 3 body slams, I think, before the Gal can even get a lunge off. Oh, but also going
Earthquake. This is going to do an amazing amount of damage to this poor Galvantula.
I would say it's a slight bit of overkill, but I do like him making sure that this thing is going down. Triple Crit obviously wanting to play it safe and going for that next body slam onto the Swoobat, which I believe should be close to taking it out.
Swoobat just barely hangs on, is able to confusion down the Donphan, goes for the aerial ace into the Orangaroo, but I don't think this is going to be enough to seal the game here.
I don't know. Aerial ace is a pretty good move. I reckon it could take out the Orangaroo in the next Pokemon. No, guess I was wrong. Aerial ace once again failing everyone.
Aerial ace has probably been poorly mistreated in its transition from main series games to Pokemon Go, but nonetheless, another great game there from our 2 finals competitors. Shawnal Kuma, unfortunate not to get a game off Triple Crit there, despite playing really well and making some good catches.
Hey.
Oh, and here is the champion now. Congratulations, Triple Crit, on your 9-0 run through the Australis Shield. You did not drop a single game in the entire tournament.
Yeah, I'm a bit shocked about that, to be honest.
That's an awesome result, man. That should be really proud of that.
Yeah, bloody oath, I am.
So, tell us, what was running through your head when you decided to bring a Donphan?
I just wanted a solid check for cast form.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I was umming and ahhing about the Blaziken, but Blaziken is pretty squishy. I think turns out Donphan is actually pretty squishy too.
I was going to say Donphan's not
Um,
much better.
But Donphan actually beats Blaziken
Well,
in
there
the
you go.
one. So
I'm assuming just because Donphan will outpace it, right?
I'm not too sure.
So I
You're the
believe
expert.
well, Blaze Kick is a 40 energy move, so your Blaziken takes 6 counters to reach the Blaze Kick, whereas Donphan only takes 5 counters to reach the Body Slam. So I would assume that is why Donphan wins that one, just because it outpaces its moves slightly faster.
Yeah, and obviously like Blaziken's got a big draw because any move that it throws just hits so hard, and there's a lot of bugs in this meta. So like fire really does have a good place, and then that massive Stone Edge that it can use. Like Blaziken's really threatening, whereas Donphan, when you come up against a Jump Pluff or something or a Zwoobat, you're not as threatening. But the hope is that with Donphan, you can orchestrate a little bit of a farm down and then launch some body slams.
Yeah, we saw that come into play in that last game there. That Donphan went absolutely wild with that farm down, getting to multiple body slams and earthquakes and what have you.
I actually can't tell you how happy I was to be able to throw an earthquake. Because the whole time tonight, I was thinking, what is the point in earthquake? Like, you never get to it. Like, you never get to throw it. And
I
saw
mean,
the
you still didn't have to throw it, but I do like I do like making sure that that Galvantula was going down.
that gal died. It probably
thing.
got deleted off Shaunal's account.
Yep. So aside from the Donphan, what else really stood out to you in the meta tonight?
I actually can't believe a pick that after entering my team I was not so sure about, and that was Dugong.
Oh wow.
Dugong actually, I think, put in most of the work tonight. I think I ended up landing it in good positions. Like tonight, I really did call some good leads. Have good answers for safe swaps. But the Dugong really just put in a heap of work debuffing, and like I was actually really surprised with the that Chesnaught matchup. Smackdown was putting on a bit of damage, but with 2 shields up and all the debuffs, it did a good job.
No, really well played there. I have to comment though. The monkey, that one I wasn't expecting to do well, and that thing seemed to just put on a clinic against a lot of the mons that you kept lining it up against.
Yeah, so I heard this really good battler the other day. I was watching his video. What was his name? Like PV Steve, I think.
Oh, Steve.
And,
yeah, that guy's a legend.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good. But he was saying that bulk was really good for this meta, and so when I was building the team, I was really trying to keep a bit of bulk in mind. I think Galvantula is going to be everywhere, and I think it's really good as a squishy pick, and then covering around with as much bulk as possible. And that's why for my psychic type, I went Oranguru, and you saw tonight it eat hurricanes no problem.
Yeah.
And yeah, just eating moves and putting on the pressure with confusion. I think like psychic is really good for this meta. And it's just like the bulkier psychic type. So that mixed with bulky Dugong, and I think Carswarm's got a decent amount of bulk. Like bulk was the key.
I wanted to ask, actually, I was curious because I saw you running both weather balls on your Castform. Walk us through why you chose normal weather ball.
I just think it's you're already putting on so much damage with tackle. So just getting that little bit of chip damage with your charge move, I think, is enough to be threatening. And I think I'd rather have that quicker spam to something that's going to hit neutral than have to build all the way up to a hurricane. As threatening as that is, Like it's non-stab. Whereas like the normal weather ball, you're getting a bit of stab damage. So yeah, just because you're already putting so much damage on with tackle, so I think there's no real need to get all the way to a hurricane.
That's true. Also does alright against the Blaze, against its counters as well, like Blaziken, and other fighters as well, like the Don fan as well. If let's say you
I didn't
went
get
for an
to
opposing
throw.
one.
I don't think I got to throw any rock weather balls at a Blaziken, but I'm sure that plus a few tackles, it probably is a pretty close match, seeing how squishy the Blaziken is.
Yeah.
And I think that may be another thing. It's like, Dom fan's squishy too. So I guess I've done it too. But Galv and Blaziken on your team, you're looking pretty squishy. You really need the other 4 picks to be able to tank something.
Yeah. So we've talked about what's strong for your team. Did any that you felt was a bit lacking? Anything you'd probably switch out for the future? Just to give the folks watching at home a bit of an idea of maybe what not to pick.
The only mon I didn't use was Jump Bluff.
Wow.
And again, I picked it for that bulk, and I actually still think it's a very good pick. Like both moves hit reasonably hard, and it just can tank moves no problem. But yeah, it's just the mon I didn't use tonight. So I think everything else I felt pretty comfortable with.
That's interesting because I was looking at picking Jump Off for my team, so now I might rethink that. We'll see. Maybe I'll bring the Don fan in over it.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, mate. Well, thanks very much for joining us tonight, and once again, congratulations on getting your second Shield title for the year. You and Jake are dominating early in the season.
Do we just keep going, Jacob, and let anybody else on?
It looks like I'll have to. Look, I don't like being tied with you, so I think I might actually have to join the next Shield just to take the lead on you. Because look,
I think I'll also be throwing my hat in the ring for next month. So
yes, do it, Fishy. Do it, Fishy. Join in. See if you can knock one of us out.
You better. Just for statistics' sake as well, like the only 2 shields that I've won are the shields where Jacob hasn't been there. So
just time it right. Just all about timing.
You just have to pray that Bamboss puts the next one on and I'm unavailable.
Yeah, I will. I'll talk to Bamboss.
Just chat to the boss.
Just figure out my availability and bribe Bamboss on that one.
Absolutely. Yep. Look, guys, thanks so much for joining me tonight. Thanks very much to Steve for being the stage ninja in the background, and to Bamboss for being our TO for the tournament tonight. And thanks to everyone watching at home. It's been a great, fun night commentating these some really amazing Arena Australis Shield battles. Any final words, Yako?
Just congratulations again to Triple Crit, and really well done to all the battlers this evening. Really cool to see a lot of the picks that we got, and really good plays. So I know I've definitely got some ideas for my teams for the tournament this month. So thanking you to all the players this month for all the little insights. So,
and thanks again, Crit. Well done again tonight, and I'm sure we'll see your name up on the top of the stage again soon.
Cheers, Fishy. Cheers, Jacob.
Peace out. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Guys.